Hello, and welcome, friends. Darkness has fallen over the NBA market. Basketball cards are falling off cliffs. They're splattering against the sides of the rocks as they jump towards the ocean. But it really isn't that bad. I mean, yeah, you got to pay attention to what's going on here, but the worst thing that I've seen is the auction format. If you guys are selling cards on eBay, you really have to be careful with what you're putting up for auction. I'm seeing a lot of people put up like a Kevin Durant rookie card for $4 shipping, $10 starting bid, and they're just getting that starting bid. It hasn't happened too many times, and some of them do go for a decent amount as you have a range of results, but a lot of auctions are not getting enough interest. People are not fighting for the cards. They've focused all of their attention on football, and basketball has taken that second place seat. That doesn't mean that it's not good. That doesn't mean that there's not an opportunity. It means that you have to tread carefully. So the first thing that you want to do is not use the auction format unless it's a card that's really, really desirable. I mean, at the tip top of desirability. And what you might want to do is use a shorter auction length instead of putting up for 7 days. Given that you're trying to capitalize on the heat at its peak, to catch that pinnacle, you might want to use a 1-day or a 3-day auction format. eBay actually charges $1 for the 1-day auction because they know what kind of groove you can get from it. You could literally just do 1 day, 1 day, 1 day, 1 day on a decent sized card until it actually sells. Man, my ear itch. So you got to be careful with the basketball card market right now. I think there's going to be a lot of buying opportunities there. Guys that just aren't getting interest that will later. We've already talked about Giannis. Just obviously that's happening with LeBron rookies and other things as well. So you kind of want to be careful with that. So that's my first caveat emptor. Beware to the seller. Don't use the auction format right now. Fixed listing, you're probably going to have to use lower prices if you want to flip this stuff. But yeah, it's not really a time to be selling basketball cards. So some of them, yes, but honestly, the vintage stuff is what is popping off. The vintage stuff, it's what, and we kind of knew that. We talked about that a little bit before, and that kind of brings me to the next point is what makes the football card market pop. Because I'm a little bit worried about the day tradability of the football card market. I don't think there's going to be enough fluctuation. And I talked about this before, that I thought it was going to go towards the middle of the season or towards the playoffs when things are going to start to just, kind of slowly ramp up. I think you're more likely to see a slow ramp up, and only occasionally will we see an explosion. Like the Edwards-Helaire rookie card just exploded, and I was thinking, man, what are you guys doing? First of all, nobody really likes the Donruss cards, base, whatever. That's just the only one that's out. Second of all, do you really want it with the college uniform? So like trying to find it with the real uniform for the Chiefs or whatever, that's what you really want. So it just seemed like a flash in the pan. He just went berserk. It was the first game, and I don't even know. I haven't even checked to see what it's at right now, but I'm guessing it's not as hot as it was a few days ago. And if it is, well, zip my mouth and throw me off a cliff. I don't know. But I got to say, what drives those spikes in the football card market? And that's the next question. Who gets credit for a good play? Like if the quarterback throws that touchdown and then the other dude caught it, though, and he ran like 20 yards, maybe he had to Barry Sanders somebody to get there. Who gets the credit for that? Are both of their cards going to go up in value? Is the quarterback just going to be seen as what an amazing quarterback? Or is it going to be the other guy? Where will the attention from the market go, and how will that drive the increase of the price in the cards? So it's a little bit difficult. So I'm kind of taking football slowly. Obviously, we invested a bunch before the season, got all of our Tyler Lockett's, our Amari Coopers, our Derrick Henry PSA 10s, a lot of decent stuff that we can see a return on already. A lot of it has tripled up, and it's gone up so that I can just start cashing it out some, reduce my position on the stuff I'm not so sure about. But yeah, I just have a lot of different questions about what's going to happen. So I'm kind of taking football slowly. But we are still buying some cards, and the cards that I'm mainly buying are vintage basketball cards, specifically Magic Johnson. And you might see behind me over here, just picked up this Magic Johnson signed USA jersey. You can't see the signature from here. It's up at the top over the S, and it's slightly faded, but it has a really cool picture of him looking like Apollo Creed from Rocky over there. You see that? He's like got his American flag, and he's all dressed up in crazy shit and roses, and then the bottom plaque says this and that. Yeah, it was a pretty cool trade. Traded some comic books for it. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. Thought about sending it off to PSA for authentication, even though I'm pretty sure that it's a real autograph. I did a lot of comparison shopping, so to speak. And it looks real. And the dude that I got it from was like a 74-year-old dude that just collects comics. And, he had some basketball stuff left here and there. He buys, flips, whatever. And he got it in an estate sale sometime. So, I mean, it makes sense to me, and it does look real. But that being said, to get confidence, it would be good to get it authenticated. But we traded just like a bunch of lower end, like Spider-Man and Incredible Hulk, Captain America, just base titles, nothing crazy, no Marvel team up, nothing like that. So we are buying. I've been buying a lot of 1981 tops. Every Magic Johnson I can get my hands on, every Larry Bird for a decent price, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Julius Erving. And they're out there, and the problem is the centering. If you look at the population report, man, it's difficult. There's like very, very few 10s of these things, and if you look it up, the 9 of the Magic Johnson, there's like 57 10s or something for an 81, and the 9, there's only like 600 of them, and there's only like 800 of the 8, somewhere around there. So it's like the 9 sells for almost $2,000 now. Like, it's really been popping off. And the reason why is because the 1980 Topps card, which features Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Julius Erving, that card has gone up to thousands. Even in a lower grade, it's going to cost you $1,000 or so. And people are just, they're kind of shut out sometimes from that, but they still want one of those cards of those guys that everybody loves. So that's going to be their first solo card, is 1981 Topps, the first card where it was just them and that's it. And, I've picked up a few. You guys have seen a couple of those around the $30 range. Very lucky there. The Magic Johnsons are like non-existent. You can find the Larry Birds, even though they're in kind of rough shape. People's prices are all over the place, from $10 to $400 for a raw one that's just got a dinged up corner and it looks like somebody ate breakfast on the side of it. Like you literally buttered your English muffin on the corner of the mother card. You know what I mean? It's nonsense. But yeah, if you find a Magic Johnson, grab that shit. If it looks like it's in good shape, if it's an 8 or better, and it's going to cost you $40, just buy it, get it graded, man. You can't lose in that scenario. So vintage cards in general have just, stuff that's already done. It's kind of like a different crowd. And, everybody kind of dabbles in the vintage market, but all the guys who are like flipping, day trading, and kind of driving some of these prices, they're all focused on football. Everybody's kind of abandoned basketball for the moment. So we're not really buying much newer basketball. The only newer basketball we're buying are rookies that weren't in the playoffs. Guys like R.J. Barrett, guys that we want to speculate there. And guys that were eliminated from the playoffs. Now, after tonight's games, you might want to get some Tyler Hero. You might want to pick up some Jamal Murray and some Jokic. I think that Jamal Murray actually has select rookie cards that are very attractive, around the $25 range, and his optics are at like 40, and his prism's obviously off the charts. So if you're looking for a good Jamal Murray rookie card, I think you can find a few nice lots up in the $30 a piece range, and you can get the selects for about $25 and change. And those are the ones I'm probably going to pick some up of, because select looks great, and that's the cheapest good Jamal Murray rookie card, and you definitely want to pick some up, especially if they end up beating the Lakers somehow. Obviously, that's going to be a way different matchup. Instead of playoff P, you've got Anthony Davis and LeBron. Not only that, they're going to be able to make the adjustments that they need to handle Jokic rather than just double teaming him and letting him pass out of it and score on every possession. That certainly didn't work. Bye, Kawhi. What are you going to do? Anyway, so yeah, we're buying those rookies. We're buying vintage basketball. And, as far as the buying of the vintage basketball goes, one thing I am starting to do, since that card, the 1980 Larry Bird Johnson Erving card, is so expensive, I've started looking for the Magic Johnson and the Larry Bird rookie cards separated, because those you can get much cheaper than the hundreds of thousands, whatever, of the other not separated. So if you can get them detached in good condition, those are still gradable cards. Now, the Magic Johnson is kind of non-existent on eBay right now, but there's a few Larry Birds in the $60 range, and there's not like a lot of samples for that market, but I do think that as time goes on and we see that Magic Johnson documentary come out, and as we get more attention, these cards are going to keep going up for who they are. Why wouldn't that separated card go up? Because that's got to be one of the next best things, like that 81 Topps card, the first solo card. So if you can't find it attached, or if it's out of your price range, you might want to try to pick up the detached versions. That's something I'm definitely in the market to do myself. Next thing, I'm selling football players who see an early spike that aren't quarterbacks because we don't know how that's going to shake out. So if I had any Clive Barkers or whatever his name is, Hilaire, it just makes me think of ice cream. Helado. So if I had any of his cards, I would have immediately cashed a good percentage of them, maybe 3/4 of them out at that burst. And I don't know if it's still bursting out there, but if it is, you might want to consider selling some now, because I don't know how long the market's going to last for those guys, or if they have like a mediocre game, if it's just going to drivel off until they explode again, or something like that. So again, I think we're going to see a lot less popping daily with this market in general, and that is going to be bad. It's going to be good for quarterbacks because those are the guys that are going to pop the most, and even if they do, there's no telling what's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 games. So it is definitely risky. It's interesting to think about. But yeah, if it's a football player who's not a quarterback, I'm just going to throw those weaker ones out, cash them right back out as soon as I can get a decent return. And also the QB picks that are weaker, like a Daniel Jones type guy, like if he ends up like 0-2 but his cards stay the same value-wise, I'll probably just cash him out and keep going. So with football, I am ready to cash out faster and put the profits or the proceeds into the longer-term cards, like the Lamar Jacksons and the Patrick Mahomes, whatever, those better guys, and maybe some vintage stuff there as well. And then as far as what we're holding, we're basically just holding the same shit we were before. We're holding stuff like Giannis, stuff like LeBron, the stuff that has tanked in price, that's basketball, that isn't a question. Like, that's going to go back up. There might be some questions about some of the guys, let's say that Giannis leaves the Bucks and then Chris Middleton's just some dude next season. Now, first of all, we already know that during that next season, the cards are not going to pop off as often because there's going to be more games and there's going to be less pressure, and who knows whether it's going to be bubble or not, etc., what the variables are going to be. But in that situation, we're just going to see less activity day to day. So if it's not a guy like Giannis or LeBron, there's no question those guys are going to go back up. Then I don't really know if I'm going to hold that guy. I might just get rid of some of his shit, whatever, and just hold the guys that I'm sure are going to go back up. Russell Westbrook is a great example. With everybody having no confidence in him, whatever happens with him, he has the ability at least to come back. He could be in the league for years to come, and he has the ability to come back and really redeem himself, so to speak. He's definitely capable of working hard and getting there, and who knows? I mean, I think honestly that he's a little sloppy. I'm a big fan of Westbrook. I love his energy. You've got to love his passion, but when it comes down to playing, he's sloppy these days, man. He's like a man-witch, just all, just real sloppy. Like when you blow your nose and then it's just all over your arm and your legs, and you're Slimer from Ghostbusters. That's exactly Russell Westbrook right now. Slimer from Ghostbusters. Just flying around looking for sausage, running into Bill Murray. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Again, you're seeing auctions of his rookie card end for like $15. So, right back to the beginning here, if you guys are using the auction format on eBay, I would say be careful and really think about why you're using it and what your goal is, and maybe use a hybrid scenario where if you're selling a card and you expect it to auction up for like 50 or 60, maybe don't put it up for 99 cents, put it up for like $39.99. That way, if you only get hit with one bid, you can live with a $40 result if you were expecting 50 or 60. And the best thing for you to do is just put it up as a fixed listing for like $49.99. Get some watchers, send out a 10% offer in the middle of the daytime. That's another thing. When you guys list on eBay, when you have a listing come up and it's a fixed listing, people go and look at that listing, and one of the first things they do, because I would do it, and I'm sure you do it, they did it, the girl down the street does it too, is you go look at the rest of their listings. What the hell else does this guy have? So you want to make sure that you're listing stuff during the daytime, because it's going to get you a lot of residual attention rather than if you listed it at like 3 a.m. Because I have a habit of doing that too. I'm like, well, I'm up, it's like 3 a.m., I can just list some stuff. And I'll still do that, but if I only have a few things to list, I'll wait until it's during the daytime so that I get maximum exposure for the rest of my listings. So yeah, just maybe use the fixed price listing if you're listing stuff there. Now let me see if I had anything else over here to talk to you guys about. I don't think so. That was it. Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to say is that instead of just using the eBay, you can use stuff like OfferUp or Craigslist, whatever's popular in your area. And in our area, OfferUp is what we do really well with. You can find all kinds of good deals to buy, even though it's been a lot drier lately. You can still find good deals. And then as far as selling goes, you're dealing with a different kind of market. Let's say you take a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, just a basic Donruss. You might put it up on eBay for $8 to $10, and you'll get a sale on occasion. If you have a big lot of them, it'll sell easier because people want to buy a bunch of them for grading or whatever. So you're not gonna get as much attention on that individual card because the market on eBay has tons of them. Everybody and their damn brother has a '89 Donruss Ken Griffey Jr. up for sale. And then if you look at Craigslist, yeah, you might find one here and there, or OfferUp, you might find one or two, but mostly it's not gonna be there day to day. So if some dude goes up and he sees it and he's like, oh, Ken Griffey Jr., I definitely gotta get that. Well, you're going to get more sales because you have a fake exclusivity. You know what I mean? So people in that situation, if they wanted to expand how they're acquiring cards, they could do so by just going to eBay and buying it for a cheaper price. But a lot of these people that are dealing on places like OfferUp, they're older and they don't like dealing with eBay. I don't like eBay. It's left a bad taste in their mouth. So I find that to be the case a lot of the time with the older people that we deal with. I'm talking about like 55 years old, but still into collectibles, still into cards or comics or whatever. A lot of the times they don't like dealing with eBay. Now, if you guys are out there and you're like 50 or 60 and you're like, well, I deal with eBay all the damn time. What am I talking about? Boy, don't put the shotgun to my head. I understand that there's people out there like yourselves that do deal with eBay all the time and are cool enough to watch this YouTube video. But there's a lot of people that aren't into it. So for those guys, I've found that they're, very happy, just kind of in their bubble, so to speak, and they'll trade, they'll tinker around, they do whatever. They maybe get a storage unit here and there. There's all kinds of different people that you meet. But the main thing remains is that it's a completely different market, and if you're only using eBay and you haven't tried something that's popular in your area like OfferUp or Craigslist, I prefer OfferUp personally, then that is something to do. And if you have a bunch of stuff that you want to sell, another thing you can do is you can just go and rent a storage unit, set up a couple of shelves, put a bunch of stuff in there, and then make an offer listing or whatever, put it up on OfferUp, and have people, make an appointment, come see what I got, buy some shit, you can do that as well. So there's a lot of options for you. But yeah, this video is already 17 damn minutes and I gotta get out of here, guys. But yeah, that's it, man. I'm done. If you like the video, please give it a like or a subscribe or something like that, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.